Inravio.com.
Hello again, everybody. This is Joe Larson and Chuck Schultz.
Hello.
Welcome.
How we doing?
Good.
Happy birthday. Let me start out by saying
Thank
that.
you.
He's 49 this year, and
Yeah.
next year we'll have the big 5-0 party, I think.
Yes. The 22nd anniversary of my 49th birthday,
That's it.
as WJ used to say.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. Yes, it is my birthday. I turned 61 today.
61 years young, as they say.
As they say, I still feel young. I
Yeah.
don't feel old. I remember when I was a kid, my grandfather was like 60. He looked like he was like 87.
Well, I'm glad that the show's doing well. We got a lot of viewers and stuff because the advertisers and so forth that we have now, we can get enough money to get the stair chair down here.
Yeah.
So you can get up and down the stairs.
We're gonna need
Don't
a
say
stair
that
chair.
because it's between the three of us, we're not too far off.
No,
from
we're
it,
not.
right?
We're not. We're not.
Scary thought.
It's all good. Yeah. Bristol this weekend. There's some good, there's some bad.
I actually wrote things down because I was so upset by Bristol. And I even brought the NASCAR book for the racetracks because, they need to do more than just send these books out. That's what they need to do.
Yeah. Usually shareholders get those books.
I am a shareholder.
Yeah.
Yeah, scary thought.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. Oh boy.
Hold on. Just don't sell it now because you're supposed to sell high.
That's what I'm teasing. I'm teasing. So for later.
So you don't sell high.
So tune in if you care about my opinion. Nobody cares about what I say.
No, it's
It's a tough thing.
It is, and one of the things that I guess they were complaining about Bristol was the attendance.
Ooh, terrible.
And it used to be.
I thought we were teasing. What are we doing here?
No, I mean it used to. I remember when I was going to Bristol back in the '90s. To get Bristol tickets, they had to be willed to you, like
Oh yeah.
the New York Football Giants.
I know people that had them, and it was like to get them, you needed an act of God in order to get them to happen. And I was amazed not only at the fact that the empty seats in the grandstand,
Right.
and the cameramen were doing a great job because they were cutting off the stands just to show you the track.
Yes.
If you really were looking at that, of course, but after you see 100,000 races, you figure, okay, you kind of want to wait for the last 46 laps, so because that's when it's going to happen anyway, especially at Bristol.
Yes.
So here we are, and I'm looking at the stands. I'm like, there's nobody in the grandstands.
Nobody.
And even the stands that they had around the corners and things like that, around the turns, where they had the big banners up, the Dale Earnhardt banner covering all of the empty seats and so forth and so on. So it was.
I had spoke to Clay Campbell, who's now president of Martinsville Speedway, who owned it through his family forever and ever until ISC bought him out. And I asked him about the banners that he had covering certain sections. And he said, Joe, quite frankly, I make more money from those banner advertisement revenues than I made from the tickets. He goes, would I rather have fannies in the seats? Absolutely. Because fannies in the seats buy the Martinsville hot dogs, buy the soda,
Sure.
buy the beer.
That's what it is.
The banners don't buy that stuff.
Well, I heard the seats are not too pricey.
They're not. They're not at all.
They're not like it's a lot of money.
No.
But
There should be people in them.
yeah, something. I don't know. It's a shame. I don't know if it's because of the ticket prices. I've heard people saying things like that.
I looked at tickets for Bristol because I was going to go because I wanted to see the K&N race, and if you're going to be there for one, you might as well be there for the weekend. And the pricing was not outlandish. What was outlandish? What, airfares and hotels?
Really?
That's because they sock you. They sock you like, that's how Daytona is. I mean, you could go to the Days Inn, and not that I would go to a Days Inn, and not to knock the Days Inn, it's just not my level. But you can go to the Days Inn 50 weeks out of the year That's not the Daytona 500, and it's 59 and 69 a night.
Oh, yeah.
The week before Daytona, or actually the 2 weeks before, as you get closer,
And the week of.
it becomes 500 a night.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's really insane.
Supply and demand is what it really boils down to.
Yeah.
They do that everywhere. I mean, you know, any destination that's, you know, a vacation destination, they do it there as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Right. You know, I think, and I'm not thinking that NASCAR, the sanctioning body, needs to do something about that. I'm thinking that the track operators need to take a look at that problem. And in some cases, International Speedway Corp and NASCAR are the same. Speedway Motorsports is, and their tracks, like for Bristol, are the same. But they need to take a look at that, and they need to find out, why aren't people going?
Well, that's the question at hand. I mean, but still, like for Pocono, Doc Mattioli, he built his own condos up there.
Right.
He made his own township to give himself the tax dollars for his own township. Right. So the question there is, you know, what's the prices on his condos and you know, living quarters there?
Right.
I mean, when we used to go to Pocono, they had trailers for us to stay in.
Right.
And we really didn't sleep anyway. We were pretty much up all night drinking anyway, and went back to the track, and it was like one big who slept.
Yeah.
You know, we'd catch a nap here, a nap there, but for the most part, we were up the whole time.
And many of these tracks are literally in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
So the question is, are they charging $69 a night if they're only renting them out during the race?
No.
Exactly.
I know. It's incredible. But they did hold a race there. Not many people saw it. In fact, they had a Cup race, they had an Xfinity race, and a Kane Ambrosia race. And there weren't a lot of people there.
Weren't a lot of people there, but I was, you know, really, I mean, I was just, you know, astounded at what went down on that race. It was like, I couldn't believe, you know, the decisions that were made.
Right.
What are we thinking about?
Yeah.
You know, are we talking about the race?
Yeah.
I mean, 19 laps to go, the caution comes out. You got the two best cars on the track, the Penske cars, that do great at every short track. I said that. I mean, they whatever they got it down pat. I mean, right. Rusty Wallace, they were, forget about it. They were unbeatable at these tracks, and now you got two good drivers there in two great cars with two great teams, two great short tracks, and hey, come on in and get tires. What are you thinking?
Right.
What are you thinking?
Yeah.
And Kyle Busch is just like, okay. And even got out of the car after he won, and he goes, I didn't have the best car. I just led the most important lap, the last one.
See, and that's a problem with a lot of the top 3 series teams with the money. They get an allotment of tires. And I'm not thinking Penske Racing is getting the same tires as Chuck Schultz Racing. I'm not thinking they are. So they have their 16 sets. Hey, you know, we still have a set that we have to use. All right, let's pick. Forget about track position.
Why do we got to use them?
Yeah, why? Because they have them.
Throw them away.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? I mean, the two Penske cars were so far out front that they were 3 seconds ahead of the third place car.
Right.
So at the same token, all right, fine. All you know, you got a caution, right? Your 3 seconds are gone now.
Right.
But that doesn't mean they're not going to go right back out there.
Yep.
And now you know that when you get the caution at 19 laps, it's a small track. Zip, 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 zip. Next thing you know, your caution's up. It's all cleaned up. The next thing you're going green. And you know you got 14 or 15 laps you're going to be at. You're not going to pass that many cars in 14 or 15 laps at a short track like Bristol with those cars.
No.
If you were in a modified, maybe you could zip past these guys with 4 brand new tires. Or, I mean, the one car took 2, big whoop, and the other car took 4.
Right.
It wasn't going to help him because he still had to get past everybody. And he was wiggling his way through there, but he got up to 3rd place, and there's no way you're going to catch Kyle Busch, even with bad tires. No. He was so far out front by that point, there was no way you were going to catch him.
And then the lap traffic plays a big part because even though they're getting lapped, they're still racing for position against the other lap cars.
Of course. You know? And they're going to be in your way. And you know what? Not for nothing, but the 22 car, I mean, Joe Logano was zipping through traffic there. He was making up some ground, but you know what? Roger Penske wasn't there at the track. There was nobody with a headset on going, what are you guys doing?
You know, and
Stay out, stay out, stay out. What are you guys doing?
And when I see stuff like this, I got to sit back and say, are they manipulating these finishes here?
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not for nothing, but and I'm not. Believe me, I'm not. I know people that love Penske and love Joey Logano and love Keselowski. I'm not a Penske guy. I mean, I love Rusty Wallace because of the Penske thing. I love Rusty Wallace just because of Rusty Wallace. But it's just smartness. I mean, who was on the pit box and made that decision? And they both made the same decision.
Yeah, and some of them do this. They're pitting. We got to pit too.
But now, let me tell you, if you're a Penske car and you're in first place and the first place guy's coming in, wouldn't the second place Penske guy go, we're staying out? Yeah. We're going to roll the dice and stay out.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I would. Absolutely.
And if they tell you, to come in, you're breaking up.
I can't hear you. I think, let me try switching to another frequency that you're not on.
I can't reach the button. It fell.
Unbelievable. What I was astounded. I was like beside myself. I'm like, you mean to tell me I just wasted 4 hours sleeping, watching this race for nothing?
I watched the highlights, which weren't really high.
They were low lights.
Yeah.
I watched the last, I got to tell you, I woke up just in time for the last 46.
Yeah.
Which was fine.
A lot of people on Facebook Live are saying the hotel pricing was insane. And our good friend John Visconti was there for the weekend, and he was saying the same thing, that the hotel pricing was just out of control.
Really?
And you know what? When I went there, I didn't stay in Bristol, Tennessee, because there's a road just past the racetrack which divides Bristol, Tennessee, and Bristol, Virginia. It's the same city, just in 2 different states.
Okay.
And I remember the last time I went, it's a long time ago, the Bristol, Tennessee hotel was about $400 and change a night. The Bristol, Virginia hotel was $99.
Oh, 99 sounds like the place to be.
Right. So you had to drive a little bit. Not a lot of bit, but a little bit.
I mean, really, what are you doing? All you're doing is sleeping there, so you don't have to sleep in your car.
Right.
Because there's going to be a mag light tapping on your window at 3 o'clock in the morning, breaking your sleep up. How many nights I just pulled over, put the van down, the seat in the van down, and just I'm fine with that.
I just recline my
like
driver's seat, just go to sleep, and then you get you can't park here. Oh, okay. When they opening the gates? 5 minutes.
That's it. Well, we would drive all night. Well, I would drive all night while my crew in the back of the van was sleeping. And I would drive all night to Pocono Racetrack, get there at 3 o'clock, and everybody would get up and go use the porta potties, the brand new porta potties, come running back into the van, except for the 2 guys that took the cooler and the booze and decided to fall asleep next to the racetrack because it was pitch black out. They wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and the race cars are like 40 feet from their head because they're sleeping on turn 1. You know what I mean?
Mr. Visconti just said that even the teams got beat up on hotels, and most teams needed 5 or 6 rooms.
That's a lot of money. It's $2,500 a night.
Yeah.
$2,500, $3,000 a night.
And that didn't. They still had to get there. That cost is even involved. And this is a race team.
It's not cheap to do. It's not cheap to do.
It's the I'm sure I've said this before. It's the only entertainment entity where the clowns have to pay to perform. You go to the circus, the clown don't pay to park. Well, he doesn't pay an entry fee.
Well, I got to tell you, when I did the entry fee for the Winston Cup back in the day when we were at Charlotte, I was astounded that it was a percentage. I think it was like, I could be wrong, I think it was $12 to get in for the day.
Wow. Yeah.
Whereas it was 3 times that to get in at my local racetrack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I can understand that you're not sleeping in, at the track. So really, the track doesn't have any. What can they do about the hotels surrounding the track?
I know.
They're taking advantage of the people. There's no doubt. But
Clay Campbell is in the, what do they call these things? The Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, absolutely. I would think that would happen. Sure. Yeah.
And one of the things that he fought was not to gouge the people coming race
the
weekend.
fans, right?
And his ticket pricing. When I tell you, seats, and not that I needed a seat because I had hot passes as working for NASCAR, and I can go in the tower if I chose to. But you bring people, they can't follow you around. So I was start finish line, top row, the suites were behind me. Ticket $75. He practiced what he preached, and that was Cup Day. I remember I couldn't go one year, and I sold my ticket to somebody, and I said, the Cup race is 75 and the truck race is 25. He goes, where are these seats? On the highway? I said, no, it's the best seat in the house. He didn't believe me. Mm. And then after he went and used my tickets, that couple started buying their own. And now they don't go anymore either because the hotel pricing got out of control.
Well, when we were working at Pocono, we had our accommodations were paid for.
Yep.
We had hot pit passes, but we went to a race where we weren't working,
right.
And we still had our accommodations were paid for by the track. But
yep.
we decided we were going to get the good seats at Pocono, and I think I could be wrong, but I think they were $125 or $175 a piece. But we were also up at the top where you got all the free food and free drink and the whole deal. Everything was included.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we were in the booth. You know what I mean? We had our own suite.
Yeah.
And that was it, soup to nuts.
Yeah.
You know, and we could have been there for the whole week, but we didn't. We just went for the cup. We ran up there just for the cup race.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the tracks, they you know. I can't, I can't blame them for the hotels, but I remember when we were shot. We were at Charlotte for like a whole week, 10 days, whatever it was, and we just didn't want to go back for the Cup race. And we're like, you know what? We made a decision that we were just going to go, and we were going to stay in a hotel, and watch the race in a hotel.
Yeah.
It's blacked out. You can't be there.
Yep.
The guy's like, the race isn't going to be on TV. I'm like, what do you mean it's not going to be on TV? He says, you got to go to the racetrack. We went 13 hours driving back home so we could watch it at home. I was like,
wow.
We were just shot. We were there the whole week, and early in the morning, late at night, you know what I mean? We were just shot.
Yeah.
We're just like, you know what, let's lay in bed, let's just, stuff our faces and watch the race, and you couldn't even watch it.
Yeah. I did that with the truck race once at Daytona because the traffic was just insane. I said, I would just go back and watch it. Nah, it wasn't on TV. It was blacked out.
We were at Pocono one time. Again, we were there the whole week, and we were all sunburnt the whole thing. And I parked the van on the front straightaway, right behind the grandstands. Wow. And every time the cars came around, we'd roll the window down because we had the air conditioner on. We'd roll the window down and hear the cars go, and we were watching it on the TV in the van, just because we were shot.
Yeah.
Between that and other things.
Other things,
yeah.
Well, there were other things that went on at the racetrack other than empty seats.
Was there?
Yeah, we had the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series race there. And I think we have a graphic for that. Kyle Busch, I mean, he wins again. He wins again. Followed by his brother Kurt Busch. Joey Logano was third. Ryan Blaney fourth. Denny Hamlin fifth. Paul Menard sixth. Clint Boyer was seventh. Followed by Daniel Suarez. Ryan Newman ninth. And rounding out the top 10 was Jimmy Johnson. Chase Elliott had the pole. He finished 11th. And, looking at this race now, 37 cars started that race. The entry blank says 40. So it was every charter team and one guy that just decided, I must be in the neighborhood, might as well try to race.
I'll show up.
Yeah, I'll show up. I'm in. Now, with this Kyle Busch win, Kyle Busch is now 9th on the all-time win list.
9th, right.
Tied with Lee Petty. Both are at 54 victories. His next victory will tie him with Rusty Wallace for 8th. And, however, he is still...
on the 8th.
Yep. 24 wins behind Dale Earnhardt Sr., who has 76.
So is he going to get it? He's going to get it. And people don't like him. I hear the scuttlebutt. I got to tell you, they didn't like Earnhardt either when he was winning all the time.
They didn't.
And he said if they were making noise, whether they're booing or not, whatever they're doing, they're making noise for me. And that's really what it boils down to.
Yep.
And I think don't close your eyes because, this is something you want to see. This is history being made.
It is.
And it's not old NASCAR, it's new NASCAR.
And it is. And
it's more competitive now than it was then.
You look at the era in the 50s and the 60s, you had your Pettys and your Allisons and the Yarboroughs. And then the new era came in, when the Winston Cup came in, there was a bunch of different guys coming in, Rusty Wallace, guys like that, Alan Quigley, and now you have the Bushes, Logano, these young kids, Chase Elliott,
They're young.
all coming in.
They're young kids, no doubt.
Guys like Jimmy Johnson and Ryan Newman, their day is gone. They're looking at their retirement funds now to say, can I do this? It's just a whole different era than it was years ago. A whole different era. Anyway, speaking of different eras, we're going to take a break. If we come back, we'll give you the Xfinity finishes as well as the K&N Pro Series East, which was at Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee, when we come back.
Hey, what's oh, I was going to say what's up for some reason. Hey, we're Set It Up, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE, your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hi there, this is Buddy from Less Than Jake, and you are listening to Inravio TV. You're probably watching it too.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hey, we're back.
We are back.
That was a quiet break.
That was a what?
A quiet break. Normally we have stuff on break that we really should have in the air.
You were busy working on technology, so was I.
Technology. That's the wrong guy to pick, technology. Anyway, the Xfinity series was there as well. And kind of not even an exciting race, the Xfinity people. It wasn't exciting. The results looked like this. Christopher Bell was the winner there, followed by Tyler Reddick. Cole Custer was third. Chase Briscoe fourth. John Hunter Nemechek was fifth. Austin Cindric was sixth. Justin Haley seventh. Michael Annett eighth. Noah Gregson ninth. And Harrison Burton rounding out the top 10. The Cup and the Xfinity will be at Richmond. The Xfinity will be there this Friday night. The Cup will be there on Saturday night. Hopefully it's not chilly. because sometimes Virginia can be a little chilly this time of year. Even though it was here on Long Island, it was in the mid-70s today, but it was
gorgeous.
28 degrees a few days ago in the morning when I left the house. Oh, the weather here is kind of wacky. It's kind of wacky. And speaking of the Gander Outdoor Truck Series was off, some bad news coming out of the Truck Series. One of their drivers, Austin Wayne Self, was issued. He issued an apology to his fans and team after he was suspended by NASCAR last week for failing a random drug test. Self, who races in the Gander Outdoor Truck Series, will have to go through NASCAR's Road to Recovery program before he is allowed to return to racing in that series. Now, I don't understand. You know at any given time, a NASCAR official is going to come up to you with a kit and say, we need to go to the men's room or the ladies' room.
Do this. Yeah.
Do this now. At any given time. What are they thinking?
I don't know. They think they can get away with it. Personally, I think that I don't know if it's even that. I mean, I think the issue is, what about people that have problems?
Yeah.
You can't get away from these things.
No.
I mean, we know people that are not racing people that, get into these problems, and it's, I feel really bad for them because it's an addiction.
It is.
It's hard to get out of that.
Yeah.
It really is hard to get out of that.
Thank God I don't have that. Although I do know people in racing that do, and how they get away with it, I don't know. And it's not my place to rat them out, so to speak. But I can remember when I was a race director here on Long Island at famed Little Riverhead Raceway, and there was a driver who was no longer alive, not due to his situation, just due to his lifestyle and not taking care of himself. I brought him into the office, and we said, you have two choices. You could go to the ambulance and do a blood test, or you can go home. I said, because I know that you're not right. And the guy goes, no, I am, man. It's just the way you're talking tells me you're not right. No, I'm good. So I said, if you don't go to the ambulance and do a blood test, if you don't agree to it, then you're not racing. And he fought me tooth and nail on that. And I felt bad that I couldn't let the guy race. Because God forbid, something would have happened to him due to his impairment, or something happened to somebody else.
You would have never been able to figure this out. Especially if you had an inkling that something was going on. I unfortunately didn't have. I was so focused on racing when I was doing the local track stuff that I didn't have the wherewithal in my head, I guess, to really focus on what was kind of going around me as much as I should have. Everything was racing. You know what I mean? I was dedicated to that. And, I was always straight and narrow. You know what I mean? You have a beers after you're done racing, the whole thing. But then I come to find out that a lot of my competitors that I was racing with were not straight when they were racing.
Nah, I know.
And it was almost like, this is what it's like, you go to the movies, you have, you get tuned up before you go to the movies. I get it. You're going out, you get tuned up before. Or, maybe, you're teaching lessons or something. By the afternoon, you start getting tuned up.
Right.
But these guys are going out and driving a race car, and they're already tuned up. Yeah. And I didn't know half of that. No. Makes you wonder why they were taking these little, cars and sticking them in these little tiny spots that you couldn't get a motorcycle into.
Yeah, they'd take an 85-inch wide race car and put it in a 40-inch hole.
Exactly.
And then come screaming at me, that guy took me out.
Mm-hmm.
No, you put it where it don't belong, the law of physics. But it's just sad that, here's another driver. Now this Road to Recovery program, it's not like, you go there next week and you come back, I'm good. It's serious. And NASCAR put that together because, there's a lot of issues, and they realize that, there's a problem, and they had to address it. So years ago, in the olden days, it was alcohol.
Now it's everything.
Now it's everything. You know, it was everything. And I can remember the first time I went to Martinsville, and the modifieds are running there, and there was the Dutch Inn up the road. And there's all the stars on the modified. There's the late, Richie Evans, and there's Jerry Cook, and all the top guys from those days in the Dutch Inn, and they're hammered. I mean hammered. And the sun's starting to come up. It's practice in 2 hours. Okay, let's go. I was a young guy in my teens.
Old school stuff.
Yeah, and then they, do their practice. They go take a nap, and they'd run, 100 laps, like it was nothing. But drugs is a whole different story. It's a whole different story.
I know.
You know.
It's sad. I mean, you wish you could help everybody, but people got to know it's not something you want to be doing. But
no,
it's to them. It's unfortunately when you're on that level. It's like the level of every, I'm going to say hobby just for the sake of it at this point, because when you start out as a hobby, everything's a hobby. It's all fun and games.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You're going and you're getting tuned up and you're having fun and games, but you got to think about the people you could hurt. This is a sport where you're not going to get hit in the nuts with a basketball or a baseball.
Right.
You can hurt somebody. You can kill somebody.
Kill somebody.
And this is unfortunate that you can't be doing that when you're driving a race car. You just can't be doing it.
Unfortunately, in my tenure as a race director, and I was sitting in the hot seat and lost a couple of people. Some I knew very well, and that was just an accident. Something that happened that just happened. But with this drug problem, it's out of control, and I don't think NASCAR should do random testing. I think it should be part of pre-race tech. They're gonna break chops over 3/32 of an inch. You know what? While you're here and your crew chiefs are arguing about that, let's go and take a walk.
Yeah, but don't you think they're gonna come prepared?
Yeah.
If it's not random and you're just going to pop up anytime, they're going to be prepared.
Yeah, but this guy...
Everybody's going to have a Ziploc bag or something in their pocket.
I know a guy that was tested regularly, and this is what he did. The guy would come to his job, and I'm not saying, don't do this at home, please. I'm not condoning this. He knew the guy would come to his job, whatever the guy's title was, and they developed a relationship. And what he'd do is have somebody else go in the bottle, and he'd put it in the men's room on the water heater.
Hide it. So when he had to go in there, he just pulled it down.
And it was still warm. And the guy didn't follow him in. The guy went, you know the drill, okay, so he'd take it and...
Are you supposed to follow him in?
Yes.
You're supposed to go in there and hold it for him?
Pretty much. You're supposed to watch.
What's the legality on that?
Don't put yourself in a position that you have to
No, I mean, but does NASCAR do that? Yeah. All right, I want a picture of any NASCAR official with his hands on his hips in the men's room watching the guy peeing in a cup.
Usually it's like this.
All right, it's worth it. I mean, you
like
name your price.
You're like this. Can we hurry this up, please? And the guy's like, I don't got to go now. I'm sorry. Here I am laughing.
All right, this is a new drinking game. Joe's going to tell us next week how many schmeckles he's seen in his NASCAR career.
Yeah, we're gonna have
if it's double digits, everybody drinks.
And the one closest to it without going over.
The one closest to it gets a free Inravio T-shirt. We'll send that right out to you.
Oh man, yeah.
It's like Wheel of Fortune. Bring the wheel down here.
Yeah. Oh, bankrupt. Yeah. What are they saying? Yeah, it's this person here is saying it's a drug test. Yep, they're supposed to be in there. Yeah. Because they could do with that other individual that I know and put it on the hot water heater.
True.
And it comes out warm, which isn't good.
All right, so you drug test Dana Kirkpatrick. You have a female official that you send in there with?
Oh, yeah, it has to be a female official. And the officials are also tested at random. But there was one female official that I worked in one of the series. I'm not going to say.
But here's a question for you. Just
she was tested every week.
Really? Yeah. A female official?
And she always passed with flying colors.
Why was she tested every week?
Somebody didn't like her.
Somebody didn't like her. Mm-hmm. So I just can't picture somebody doing this at their day job. Would you imagine
it's usually a weekend job.
Would you imagine the chit-chat around the water cooler after that?
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah. There'll be some interesting chat. And then when they get to their regular job, you know what I saw?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Be careful with that thing. The water's cold and deep, too.
Deep, too. It curves on the bottom. Oh, my God. We're going down the wrong path here.
Welcome to Jamaica.
We're
and have a nice day.
We better not ever race again. We're not making it through Tech.
No, we're not making it through Tech.
Anyway, the K&M Pro Series East was also at Bristol this weekend. And it was a parade without music. Sam Meyer started from the pole, led every lap, and won. Imagine that. Young kid, 15 years old. Wow. It's his first career K&M Pro Series victory. Starts on the pole at a tough track like Bristol, leads every lap, and wins. Chase Cabaret was second, Brandon McReynolds third, Drew Dollar was fourth, Spencer Davis was fifth. Sorry about that. Derek Krause was sixth, Colin Garrett was seventh, and Mason Diaz is eighth, Raphael Lessard ninth, and Tanner Gray rounding out the top 10. So, and Cabaret, he finished 3.634 seconds behind Sam Meyer. Now, people are going to say, that's a lot. Not at 120 miles an hour, it's not. I mean, it looks like a lot, but 3 seconds is nothing. It's 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Boom, that's 3 seconds. And then, of course, McReynolds, he scored his second straight top 3 finish.
Nice.
In only his second season in the K&M Pro Series. So this series is taking off again. Because, you know, when it was the old Bush North and it was a lot of different things over the years, and what has happened is it's getting bigger again. And it used to be the Cup teams using this as a practice, as a development thing for their drivers. And the joke used to be when it came to K&M Pro Series is the kids and nephews series.
Yeah.
Because one of the France grandchildren was in the series, so they called it the kids and nephews. And that's not true. I worked that series for a few years, and no fine a bunch of people there, but it was Cup teams with Cup resources and Cup money running in a regional series, and you know, it kind of took away from it. So a guy like you and me who wanted to race in that could not, because we could not compete. Whereas years ago, you had the modified tour, and you had the Bush North, and there was regular guys who were tired of the Saturday night, Friday night grind.
Doing the Bush North.
Doing, you know, to make a few extra bucks maybe.
That's why we started looking at the Bush North, was the exact same thing.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes forward. But I think this series is starting to come on the way it was intended to be. There's people in there like, you know, McReynolds. That, you know, they don't got millions of dollars stashed away to go do these things. You know, Drew Dollar, he's one of those guys. Spencer Davis came out of the modified series. You know, so when you look at these things, maybe it's coming back. Maybe it's gone full circle again. Who knows?
It's still not cheap to do that division.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. You don't need like $50 million sponsors in it. Maybe a couple million. Maybe. But, you know, they made some rule changes over the years that hurt the division, or hurt the series. I shouldn't call it a division. They have divisions at the weekly tracks. But, you know, this is one of those touring series that, and when it toured originally, it was primarily in New England. Now it's touring.
It's touring. It's around.
It's touring. You know,
Which brings the cost up a lot.
Yeah, it does. But, you know, it's not
That's the
longer
sad
like
part.
5 races at Thompson up in Connecticut and 3 at Stafford.
No.
They
Well,
go
originally that's what it was doing.
Exactly, and it was a New England series, so.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's moving on and it's doing very well, so I'm very glad to see that. And,
Yeah, I'm glad to see that people are doing well with it.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. And not too much news coming out of the K&M Pro Series, but the Touring Series and Modifieds, our man Justin Bonsignor did it again. Justin Bonsignor that was at the Thompson Motorsports Park in Thompson, Connecticut for the Icebreaker, which used to be the first event on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, while Donald Honig owned it, and that was in his deal. I am the first race, but he turned over the facility to his grandchildren, and he's no longer the first race. But Justin Bonsignor was the winner there, followed by Ronnie Silk. Eric Goodale was third. Patrick Emmerling was fourth. Doug Colby fifth. Burt Myers sixth, made the trek up from North Carolina. Matt Swanson seventh. Woody Pitcat eighth. Chris Pastriak ninth, and Jimmy Blewett rounded out the top 10. Justin Bonsignor scored his 5th straight NASCAR Whelen Modified victory at the Thompson Motorsports Park, making him the first driver in the history of the Modified Tour to win 5 straight at the historic Connecticut Oval. It was also his 10th Thompson victory and his 21st overall. I didn't realize he had 21 wins overall. I mean, I must have talked about it, but 21 victories in the Tour, 10 at Thompson.
That's great.
He kind of owns that place without holding the mortgage.
He seems to be doing very well.
But in this race on lap 99, there was a pit. Doug Colby beat Bonsignor out and off a pit road, and a penalty was assessed to Colby for running over his air hose, which you cannot do. So if you run over equipment pulling out, you were brought back and put to the tail end of the longest line, which that's an old rule because they used to have lap cars on one line, lead lap cars on the other.
Right.
Now it's you're last.
You're last.
You're last. Yeah. And Colby, he did work his way back up to 5th from being put in the back. So
He's a good competitor as well. He always runs very
is.
well.
And you know, a few years ago, I said the only thing Doug Colby was missing was a good ride. And when he hooked up with Mike Slamerglio Racing, MS2, vacating the seat that I believe was vacated by Todd Zegedy, who had success in that car as well, who decided to do other things in life, like bicycle riding across the country. But you know, he was a working guy, you know, Todd Zegedy, so he wanted to have a family and start going on to that, and racing takes up a lot of your time. So.
It does. It's a lifestyle.
It is. And
it becomes all of your life.
And if you don't understand, the people who don't understand what we used to do, nights in the shop.
Not only for free, but actually paid to do.
Paid to do, yep. You know, and nights in the shop, and you go to your local track and your car gets wrecked, and it's not about making it better sometimes, it was just fixing it just so you can get to the next one. And people didn't understand that. They just didn't understand that, and don't. I'm trying to explain to people now that, you know, why we did that and why we continue to do that to a degree. So.
Well, I mean, you know, maybe we do it to an extreme because it's every night of the week. But I mean, there's people out there that go camping, and it takes up a lot of time to hook up your rig and get going and go where you got to go and set up your stuff somewhere else. And
yeah, I mean, how many people do we know that Thanksgiving weekend they go hunting because hunting season starts?
Absolutely.
That's what they do.
They're hunters.
Nobody makes fun of them.
And when they're not hunting, they're spending their time getting set for hunting.
Right.
They're cleaning their guns. They're getting their deer pee or whatever they get to put around. They got, you know, a whole rigmarole.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know, they got it all down pat. You know, they're going up and getting the hunting house ready to go, and you know, working. We're putting up this, we're putting up that, getting it ready to go, and the quads and what have you. So it's kind of the same thing.
It's a lifestyle. Like my brother has a boat, and he's in the village of Babylon, and you're allowed to dock your boat on April 6th. April 6th, 1 minute after you were allowed to get in.
He's there.
He was there. The gate was still locked. And then they opened it up, and he was the first guy in the water in Babylon Village.
I believe it. Because
And
I
he
know he
does
was
that.
the last guy out of the water.
He
I
is,
see his post.
right?
Absolutely. He's out there with a Parker on. He's like, oh, putting the boat away.
11:59 p.m., you know, he's there, okay, we got to take it out.
The end of September max, maybe beginning of October, the boat's already coming out. I'm done. If
November, he's still out there.
No, it's no way.
Yeah. Nah, it's not my thing.
There's if it's not hot and there's no sun, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I'm a boater, but
Yeah.
you know, I try to use it more than I can, but at the same token, it's
But it's like anything, like a golfer. The season's limited, but they're out there every weekend. And I golfed with guys years ago, because I golfed in college. And I can remember we had a tee time that was like at 6 in the morning. And somebody went there at 5 in the morning because he wanted a specific golf cart. And he was going to beat them to it.
hey,
Every weekend.
I showed up at racetracks when they weren't racing,
No.
not on purpose.
On purpose. I never did that. I never did that.
You know what? I never thought, this is before the internet was really the internet, but you know, we were going to Flemington because the plan was I was picking up my crew. They were coming in from on a plane, JFK, whatever it was. I think that's where it was.
Right.
So here I am with the hauler and the race car, making the lap at JFK or LaGuardia, wherever it was, just doing laps over there because we're waiting for them to come in, right? Finally, they come in. I pick them up with their baggage, the whole thing, put them in the hauler. We head out to Flemington because it's Saturday night. They're racing in Flemington. We want to get some laps in Flemington before the Race of Champions, right? So we go out there, and when I tell you there was nobody out there but a guy in a golf cart picking up paper.
No.
And I said, what's going on? He goes, oh, they're off this week. The whole track's closed. It's not even like one division's off.
Yeah.
It's not even like our division wasn't running or whatever.
yeah.
It's closed.
I remember when I first started racing back in the mid to late 70s, never looked at a schedule. Friday night, you're prepared. Saturday, you're loaded and went to the track.
That's it.
And it was every Saturday from April to October.
You didn't have to look if you were on or off. You were
Yeah,
racing
you were
every
on.
week. Every
Yeah.
week we just went.
No.
I never looked at a schedule either.
No.
All I knew was the last day.
Yeah. I know a guy that lost a sponsor 2-3 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, because that guy went to Riverhead Raceway to watch him race. That's fine. He never went. All right, I'll go.
The sponsor.
The sponsor and his family, his whole family, his
And
friends.
his car was off.
And he's like telling him, I sponsor a car. I got my names all over it. And he goes there, and because the late models and the Chargers looked so much alike, he's thinking, when he saw the Chargers, where's my car?
Right. Who would know?
Wants to pull the deal. He thinks the guy's like, giving him a hug on a line. Guys, we were off. What do you mean you're off? I sponsored you for the whole year. Well, we only run X number of races. They had a victory lane bench and there was nobody in the seats. He goes, what am I sponsoring? Those are the little things, which aren't so little.
They're not so little when
They're
you
not so
guys
little.
dropping down cash every week.
No. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
one of those things. Hey, speaking of some, could be bad news, but it could not be, depending on how you look at it. Remember Sterling Marlin?
That's sad news.
It's kind of sad news, but hopefully, we'll get through this. Sterling Marlin, a 2-time Daytona 500 winner. He underwent deep brain stimulation surgery last week. The surgery, the third of 4 surgical steps, is for treatment for Parkinson's disease. Marlin was diagnosed in 2012. Marlin left the Cup Series after 2009, returning to his roots racing in the weekly series at Fairgrounds Speedway in Nashville, Tennessee, while still having Parkinson's. He kept it quiet. He's hoping that this surgery and the 4th one will knock it out of his system, and he hopes to return back to weekly racing. I didn't know when he left NASCAR he went back weekly racing.
I did not know that. I heard that he left NASCAR right after the death of Dale Earnhardt because he was involved in that.
Yeah.
And I heard that there were death threats made, and he was
Time to go.
On the lowdown.
Yeah.
And I think, I wouldn't doubt he probably even had a bodyguard at the time, too, because you don't know what's going on.
Yep.
And I find it difficult to believe that any kind of a NASCAR fan would be putting out any kind of a death threat.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, everybody knew that was a racing deal, but
It was a
still,
racing deal.
Anybody who's a fan knows that.
Yeah.
Bad racing deal, but I mean, nonetheless, it was like. I don't want to say this, but I mean, everybody has seen those accidents, and it was really not a big deal.
No. I was there that day. It wasn't.
It was really not a big. I was like, Earnhardt got taken out on the last lap. That's the only thing you thought.
Yeah.
You didn't think, well, that's a bad accident. Oh my goodness, that's
Yep.
As my father used to say, if you're on the page for that day and God turns that page, no matter what you're doing, you could be sitting on the side of a, of a wishing well, and next thing you know, it's your time to go.
Yeah.
And it really was not that bad of an accident, but Sterling Marlin, I'm sure, he raced with Earnhardt for how many years? The emotional, I can't even imagine being involved in that wreck and dealing with the emotional on that.
No.
And let alone now getting death threats from fans that are, coming at you from every angle.
That you got to go.
That you gotta, you gotta put your head down and hide in the sand.
And then the other thing, I have some sources still that whisper in my ear. The Monster Energy offered to extend its title sponsorship of NASCAR's Cup Series for another year through 2020, but sources tell me that NASCAR rejected the offer. They're saying that these inside sources are saying NASCAR wants 4 major sponsors to put up $20 million each. Currently, Monster Energy is reported to only be paying $20 million through sources. And NASCAR is looking for the $80 million that they feel that it's worth to be the title sponsor. Be interesting. Anyway, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we have some things to see, because I see, there's some stuff on that piece of paper that we really didn't talk about, maybe, possibly. Oh, yeah.
There's only one thing on that piece of paper.
So when we come back, we got some things to talk about, and we'll be wrapping it up when we come back.
Hi, I'm Remington.
I'm Emerson.
And I'm Sebastian.
We're Palais Royale, and you're watching Inravio TV.
There we go.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hey, this is Chris Less Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE, your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hi, this is Mike Jarecki from My Race News, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
I used to say I love that song. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
So, yeah, we got about 8 minutes left, so we're going to take a bathroom break now.
I told Joe we got 14 laps left. Let's pit.
Oh my gosh. Richmond should be interesting. They're going to do the same thing. But anyway, let's talk about that thing that we have here on your little piece of paper, your notes here.
Well, what we wanted to do, because we had the 3-3 for at 3 o'clock for Marty Himes. So basically 3-3, March 3rd, right? Marty Himes Day. So what we decided we were going to do is, for every Inravio T-shirt that's purchased, half the profit's going to go to Marty at the museum. So if you guys want to go to the website, Inravio website, and look for the T-shirts for sale and the swag, you can buy a T-shirt for every T-shirt you get. Inravio T-shirt, we'll split the profits with Marty Himes.
And I'll tell you what, if you haven't been there, get there. And if you don't know what it is, and so I didn't know what it was until the last maybe 15, 20 years. I've been doing this racing gig for 40-something years. And Marty protects, preserves, keeps, records racing history, not only on Long Island, but all over. He has stuff there. You saw it from Indy.
Yeah, he's got bricks from the Indianapolis 500 from the start-finish line.
Yeah.
When they paved it and pulled the bricks out, he's got a couple of bricks from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has, and nobody believes me, and then when they go there and he shows them, because I'm not going to take pictures of it. You got to go for yourself. Original plans for Indianapolis Motor Speedway, that was a figure-8 course with an over-under. If you don't believe me, go there. He showed it to me. It's there. I mean, the stuff that he has there. And I'll tell you what, and I know he's getting up in age, but if you mention a driver, you go in there and say, so-and-so, this is what he'll do. He'll go, stay right there. Within minutes, he'll have something from that driver, whether it's a shirt, a uniform, a helmet, goggles, the guy's wedding ring, something. He'll have something for that guy. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of drivers, when they quit racing, they give him stuff. There's whole entire cars there. And I had spoken about this a couple of shows ago, that he had brought them out to a racetrack, and we just did laps. And Al Lamarino from Andy Auto Body, right here on Long Island, painted the Ace of Spades the way it was when it raced back in the 50s. And all these cars are all painted up. Axel Anderson's car, Walt Edsel's car, these guys are no longer with us, but their cars are. And watching these cars do laps, I mean, if you're a race fan, it's got to bring chills. It's got to.
It's unbelievable, some of the memorabilia he's got there. I mean, he's got just, people know what he's doing, and people know what he's got going on there. And he had a friend of his that passed away. The wife called up and says, listen, he's got this 57 Chevy that he rebuilt. I want you to have it. Come get it.
Come get it.
Drove it over there.
And that show American Pickers, I'm sure that you've seen on TV, that go to these places and they pick stuff and buy it.
Buy stuff to resell.
And they send him letters. They're begging him to go there. And he goes, nothing's for sale. And they said, everything has a price. And he said, no. This stuff was donated to me, and I will not sell it. He will not sell it. He doesn't make a dime off of anything that's brought in. And I'm telling you what, he could probably retire, his kids could retire, and his grandkids could retire on the stuff
if
that
he sold
it.
He's got a car there, a sprint car, quarter midget, whatever it is, and but that's got a prototype motor in it that there's only one made of, and everybody wants that motor.
Yeah. So, get out there. The weather's getting nice. Call them up, tell them you're coming. I'm telling you, don't think you're going to go there on your lunch hour.
It's a whole day deal.
It's a whole day. Go to Dunkin' Donuts, go to Starbucks, go somewhere, get some coffees, donuts, rolls, whatever,
and go
spend a day. You know, and maybe
you will not be disappointed. There's so much. If you're a race fan, there's so much to look at. And if you've never been there, then you need to go.
Yeah,
you're missing out, and you need to go before you can't.
Yeah. There's no telling what could happen.
There's no telling what could happen.
There's no telling, and not that Marty's in any trouble with
He's
his
in
health.
great shape.
He still climbs under. He put a motor in the car today, for crying out loud. What I saw on Facebook, him and his brother. They're 80 years old. They're putting motors in cars. You know, I won't do that.
Well, was it Nancy or Gloria was saying that she came home went over there the other day or a couple months ago. He's up on the roof.
He's on the roof. Yeah, a little leak. He's gonna fix it. Climbs up on the roof. God bless him. God bless him. But you know what? Go to our site, Inravio.com, correct?
Inravio.com.
Inravio.com.
You can, as of tomorrow, you can start purchasing the shirts.
And it's going to a real good cause.
$15 each. It's nothing for a T-shirt.
Yeah, and you know, when race car drivers are in the pits and racetracks are selling the same shirt for $25. And I worked at ASI. I know what they cost. So, that's how Earl Pearson, and who raced dirt late model, and all over the country. What he would do was sell his shirts from his hauler after the races, and that gave him enough gas money to put fuel in the race car for the next one. And that's how he finances his fuel bill for racing. So, you know, but
that's how most indie bands do it.
Yeah, yeah.
They go and they sell their stuff at Warped Tour. That gives them enough money to put fuel in the van and get to the next part, and they sleep in the van because they can't afford a hotel.
Can't afford a hotel.
So they can sleep in the van and they can play at the next Warped Tour, and they just keep doing that until they run out of money.
And that's how Tom Baldwin Jr., when he first got into Cup, he said, listen, we could get the team, we can get the hauler. I can't feed you and I can't give you a hotel. You in? And the guys were in. They slept in the hauler. They ate whatever food they could eat. And there was no pay. And, you know, he worked his way up. Now he's back down into the modifieds, but he's still got his fingers in the dike. So it's all good. It's all good. But, yeah, it's one of those things you gotta, you know, it's like the World Trade Center. You don't want to say, I'm going to get there, see the view, and get there, and then it's gone. I should have went. Please, this is one of those things that don't say shoulda, woulda, coulda. Come back and say I did.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, you know, we go there every August, even though he says it's the last one. You know, the last one was the last one, but
you can't have that amount of fun for a whole day. And even if you put, you know, even if you put $50 in the bucket for the whole family for a whole day, believe me, Marty's giving you a personal tour around the whole place. He's not going to leave you.
Oh yeah.
He's just not going to set you on your own. He's going to walk you around. He's going to tell you about every little thing. You ask him whatever you want to ask him, and he's going to answer whatever you need to be answered. Yep. He knows it all.
He does. And you know, I always wonder, you know, 15, 20, 30, 40 years after we're gone, when that knowledge goes with him, who has the knowledge?
We have the knowledge because we recorded it.
Yes, we did. We were there for hours. And he talked and talked and talked. And real quick, I know we got to go, but we wanted to move something. When I tell you, we wanted to move it from here to here. Because you're not moving nothing.
Can't move that. And it was a stool with papers on it.
It was a stool with papers and magazines.
It was like a little table, a little stool, whatever, with magazines on it. Marty, can we move this over here so we can put the chair, Joe with the chair next? You can't move that. We want Joe next. You can't move that.
Nope, not an inch. Not an inch. Anyway, the control room's telling us we got to go.
Let's do it.
All right. So
we'll be back next week,
we'll be
God
back
willing.
Next week. Yep, and God willing is right.
God willing.
And I want to thank everybody for taking time in anybody's busy schedules to join us tonight and talk racing and listen about racing. And the people in the Facebook Live, that's getting bigger and bigger. And there's people on there that are important, I'm seeing, like track owners are starting.
Well, that's good.
All right? Drivers, people, thank you. Thank you. And your input is welcome. We love your input. Tell us there's something you want to talk about. Tell us you want to hear. We'll do it for you.
Shoot us a personal message on the 5 Off page, whatever, and we'll work it into the grand scheme of things.
Yes, we will. Thank you very much, everybody. Wherever you go in this weekend, please be safe. Please be careful. Give somebody a hug. Tell me you love them. God bless you all, and we will see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.